we're trying to do the same thing with our voting laws. So that's my point. Why Colorado? What is it about Colorado? Because Brnovich, the AG, is kind of in line with what they want to do in Georgia. Texas is in line with what they want to do in Georgia. And if we look at at what's going on, there's almost 47 states that want to make some changes with their voting laws. Why did Colorado win? Why was that so safe? Because if we look at it outside looking in and just stop and just think about how politics is now, well, it's always been in everything, but how it's mainlining the way it is, you weren't going to go to a state that was really far left. Or you weren't going to go to a state that was really far right. But when you get to the voting laws, do you honestly think if I'm the owner of the Atlanta Braves and I really don't want the game to leave, but for political reasons, I'm not going to just go kicking and screaming? If it goes to a state similar to my state, I'm going to say, why are you putting it in Texas? Governor Abbott feels the same way. They're changing laws in Texas. Yeah, you could have left it there. And if you go to a state like California or New York, whoa, Cuomo's so far the other way. He's ridiculous, and he has his own problems going on. Oh, you're going to put it in Colorado? Okay, well, they're similar to us, flying on the radar. You're going to promise this is going to come back to us one day, right? All right, we'll let this slide. So, something just, I got the EBGBs about this.
You know, when he usually says that or says that he has the heebie-jeebies, he's usually right. You know that, right, Ed?
Usually, yes.
So 99.9% of the time.
Well, there's still that 0.1.
I wonder if Manfred would ever come out and actually explain why the league picked Denver, the state of Colorado, and Coors Field for the Colorado Rockies to host the All-Star game. Would he ever come out and explain that?
Okay, don't you think it's odd that he didn't when he moved it? Let me rephrase that. Let me put that question back to you like that. If he moved it to Colorado, wouldn't he say we chose Colorado because no, he didn't. You don't find that odd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We moved Atlanta. We slapped him on the hand. We're moving it to Denver. Why?
Yeah, because
don't worry about that. See, to me, that's the problem. If you're going to move a game, when they moved the game the NBA moved the game out of Charlotte for the LGBTQ and the bathroom issue, they said we're moving it to the state because they're more friendly to this. And if once Charlotte changes their mind or changes their vote, we'll put the game back in Charlotte. But until then, we don't want to host it in a state or in a city that feels this way about this issue. That was specific. So you knew when they moved it to a city that was different. He just said, we're pulling out of Atlanta, we'll put it in Denver. Why?
So we definitely have a little bit of extra homework to do on this. Mm-hmm. But at least for the time being, something has been done. But now it's the underlying reason why Denver.
It's like when you come home to your girlfriend with some flowers and some candy. Yeah, it's a great gesture. But if you never bring flowers and candy, what'd you do?
True story.
So, hey guys, I'm sorry that I have to fly. Joanna, I talked to you earlier about what was going on, but I'm glad I called. I'm glad I called in when I did.
Perfect timing, as always.
But I appreciate it, and like I said, I'm like my man Chuck D or KRS-One. I want to add some more thought to this. Ed don't know who those people are, but
what?
I just want to add some more thought to that.
What do you mean I don't know who Chuck D and KRS-One are? Let me open up my music app and show you I know who they are. Come on.
All right, my people. I appreciate you having me on tonight. I truly do.
All right, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming on, taking a little bit of time. So we'll chat later.
Much love. Hopefully, hopefully the listeners will have some thought to everything all four of us have said about this topic.
Definitely, I'm sure.
All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you again.
You too.
All right, brother, drive safely, man.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
So, Joanna, I did some digging, and I have an explanation as to why Colorado was selected for the 2021 All-Star game as a replacement for Atlanta, Georgia.
All right. So if you want to go ahead and shed some light before we move on to the next.
Let me pull up my graphic first so I can have that underneath. There we go. So there's a sportingnews.com article that says the reason why MLB expounded on its decision to move the game to Colorado, they did come up with a statement, Joanna. They said MLB chose the Rockies because they were already in the bidding process to host a future All-Star game. So they were already in the process. The Rockies had supplied a detailed plan for hotel, event space, and security that took months to assemble, and MLB staff had already made several site visits to Denver. So they'd already been the state of Colorado in Denver. In addition, Governor Jared Polis and Mayor Michael Hancock have both committed to provide the necessary facilities and services needed to support this year's festivities. So by all accounts, MLB and the city of Denver and the state of Colorado had already been in negotiations to host an All-Star game. And it just so happened that this controversy came up in Atlanta with SB 202. And that allowed MLB to pull out of that and quickly move to Denver, Colorado, because the process had already been started.
Right. So I understand that, but there's still a little bit more, I think, at least for me, to do and understand, especially from what PLR said. So we'll probably may have to circle back a little bit further into this and see what lies underneath their ultimate decision, aside from what you just mentioned.
Yes. And the good thing for the state of Georgia, MLB announced that all the funding that they had already said that they were going to put toward local Atlanta communities, they're still going to honor that. They're still going to have financial donations and whatever monies they need to give to the local businesses in the Atlanta, Georgia area. They're still going to honor that. So those local businesses will hopefully be able to get that funding and continue to prosper their businesses. Yeah.
So that's good that they will still be doing that. So that's great to hear. And they won't be losing out of that initial. Yeah.
And it's tough, Joanna. It's like, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't, if you're Rob Manfred in Major League Baseball. We know that's a decision that they had to make, and not everybody's going to be pleased with it. Not everybody's going to be happy with it. But at the end of the day, that is something they had to do because of what was going on with SB 202. They could not sit there and host an MLB All-Star game there in Atlanta with everything going on there with voter rights and people feeling like they've been alienated. People of color are being alienated because of this SB 202 law that would probably that they feel would restrict their voter rights because those ballots may or may not get to their neighborhoods, to the more lower income neighborhoods. And that's the situation that the people of Atlanta, Georgia are dealing with, in the state of Georgia for that matter. Yes,
definitely, unfortunately. So we'll be keeping, our eyes on that and see what progresses. And just congratulations to Denver and Colorado Rockies to hosting the All-Star game this summer. But with that, we'll go ahead and continue on talking a little bit more baseball. And have you checked out the new jerseys that Boston Red Sox will be rocking here soon? They are in collaboration with Nike. These jerseys have been inspired by the Boston Marathon and Patriots Day. And the color of the jerseys are blue and yellow. Pretty neat and pretty retro. If you haven't checked them out, definitely do so. They are pushing boundaries into designing these uniform alternates for baseball. And it's known as a City Connect series that Nike has developed. So something new, something different, out of the box, definitely, because you will not see the jerseys with the traditional team colors. So part of this will include seven MLB teams. That is the Marlins, the White Sox, the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Dodgers, in addition to the Red Sox. There are timelines and set days of when they will be rocking these awesome jerseys, and they start as early as in May.
And by the end of the 2023 season, every team is expected to have one of these City Connect jerseys, which would be really cool. I love these Red Sox jerseys. They are so awesome. What a great idea. What a great design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So looking forward to, being on sale, hopefully for us soon, and being able to either get a jersey or get a cap or something. That would be very, very awesome.
Well, Joe,
this is super cool.
It's your team, and so I know you'll be rocking the jersey. And this I don't know if would you call it a powder blue, the Red Sox hat?
I don't know if that would be a powder blue. I think it's a little bit darker than a powder, that baby blue.
It's not like the Chargers baby blue for their uniform. It is a little darker than the Los Angeles Chargers, but it's a beautiful color.
Yes, it is. It's gorgeous. I fell in love. I saw that. I'm like, oh my gosh, beautiful.
So the Red Sox, they're going to wear these uniforms for the first time on April 17th and 18th against the Chicago White Sox, and then they'll wear their traditional Patriots Day uniform for the Patriots Day game, their annual Patriots Day game.
Yes, and then they also have the patch on their jersey as well.
617.
Yes. So some really cool details, definitely, guys, take a look at it. Take a look at those calendar for when your team is going to be rocking these City Connect Series jerseys. I will do whatever I can do to get my hands in one of these two items. So
you will. And at least for us locally, for the Diamondbacks, they're going to rock theirs on June 18th. We have to look at their schedule. I'll look that up real quick.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, they will be playing the Dodgers during that weekend.
That's perfect.
So that's perfect. I will either be there or whatever, in some way, shape, or form, I will be there and trying to get my hands on one of these, not only for the Red Sox, but for the Diamondbacks. So my two teams.
You're right. Friday, June 18th against the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's to open that 3-game series with LA at home.
Yep.
That's great.
That's awesome. So yeah, I'm excited for Nike and MLB doing something different. Talking about doing something differently and pushing the envelope. So
sure. Yeah. And of course, is that not a great marketing tool for all of these teams? For all these teams and Nike to come out with even more product for people to buy, because these things are going to fly off the shelves. Once they hit the market, people are going to eat these things up, eat it like a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes, definitely. And then also another way to go ahead and capture the younger generation, the millennials, because this is, the color of it and something just to attract, whether that's fans that are slipping away or new fans, or just get, just marketing and being able to go ahead and do something more and capture, more fans as well.
Yes. Yeah,
Definitely.
because we talk about it all the time, how MLB is desperate for the millennials, for the young fans, because a lot of people still think it's an old man's game. And just people feel that way. Young people feel that way. Like, why would I want to watch baseball? Why would I actually want to go to a ballpark and watch a baseball game? It's boring. Why, I'd rather hang out with my friends or play video games than go to a baseball game. But now that the Red Sox are going to rock these jerseys and all these other teams are coming out with this fancy new swag, you're right. This is a great way to entice the young folks to start coming to these baseball games.
Yes, definitely. And so, talking about fans and enticement, said that correctly, right?
That's the right word.
I'm like, had a question mark. I'm like, is that a correct word? Anyway.
That's a good word, yeah.
So, we've been witness of something that has not been so pretty for the Padres. The San Diego Padres being Fernando Tatis Jr., he has suffered an injury. He's been placed on the 10-day injured list due to a partial shoulder dislocation. That's his left shoulder. And it appears that there's a possibility, or there is a partial tear in the labrum. So now that's going to require treatment. That's going to require rehab. There is word out there that from some doctors who have observed that maybe at some point he's going to need surgery, whether it's now or whether it's later. However, if he does get surgery, it will be a season-ending surgery. It will take some time. I'm curious to know what Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be doing, because if he doesn't have it now, he's probably is he going to wait until the end of the season? Is he going to try and push it out as far back, as far as he can? He has suffered a shoulder discomfort 2 weeks ago in spring training. Yes. He came back to play 2 days or 2 games later. Come on, Ed. He has a $340 million 14-year contract with the Padres that he just signed before the season starting. And it has come to light that he has suffered continuous soreness in his shoulder this just came to light in March when he suffered. So there's more, more